Few automotive creations in history have challenged convention as boldly as the 1934 Crossley Burney Streamline. It emerged in an era when rigid, upright sedans dominated the roads, yet this extraordinary automobile looked more like the fuselage of a pioneering aircraft with its wings removed. The radical concept was created by Sir Dennistoun Burney, a renowned British engineer best known for designing the famous R100 airship. Burney wanted to bring advanced aviation principles of drag reduction directly into automobile design, abandoning many of the established rules of chassis, layout, and coach building. When Crossley Motors acquired a license to produce an improved version of his design, the company introduced a remarkable symbol of industrial optimism onto British roads. The vehicle immediately captured public attention with its flowing lines and teardrop-shaped silhouette, effectively becoming a vision of what high-speed, long-distance travel might look like in the future. To understand the unique architecture of the Crossley Burney Streamline, you have to look at how radically its designers rethought the layout of an automobile and the problem of aerodynamic drag. The body featured a completely enclosed underbody covered with flat metal panels designed to reduce turbulence beneath the frame. The roofline flowed smoothly downward toward the rear, eventually narrowing into a tapered tail. One particularly clever solution was the hidden full-size spare wheel, which was stored inside a specially designed compartment built into the thickness of one of the rear doors, allowing the exterior bodywork to remain as smooth as possible. The passengers were positioned within the vehicle's long wheelbase, providing better protection from road imperfections, while a smooth front panel replaced the traditional upright radiator grille. Every body panel was hand-formed from lightweight aluminum alloy over a strong structural frame, helping the Streamline achieve aerodynamic efficiency far beyond that of most luxury automobiles of the period. At the heart of this unusual land yacht was a rear-mounted powertrain designed to maximize cabin space and reduce mechanical noise for passengers. Power came from an inline-six cylinder engine displacing 121 cubic inches, or approximately 2 liters, with overhead valves operated by push rods. This smooth six-cylinder engine produced 62 horsepower at 4,000 revolutions per minute and sent its power through a 4-speed preselector gearbox mounted ahead of the rear axle. The driver could select the desired gear in advance using a lever on the steering column, then engage the shift smoothly by pressing the main pedal. To keep the rear-mounted six-cylinder engine cool under heavy loads, engineers developed a complex cooling system in which coolant traveled through long metal pipes to a large radiator mounted all the way at the front of the vehicle. In terms of dimensions, the Crossley Burney Streamline had impressive proportions and easily overshadowed most conventional luxury sedans on British roads. The overall length measured 15 feet 5 inches, while the body was 5 feet 6 inches wide. The wheelbase stretched to 9 feet 8 inches. The front track measured 4 feet 8 inches, while the rear track was deliberately narrowed to 3 feet 7 inches to follow the teardrop-shaped narrowing of the rear bodywork. The vehicle weighed approximately 3,750 pounds with passengers aboard. Despite its considerable mass, its streamlined shape allowed the automobile to reach an impressive top speed of around 80 miles per hour. Fuel economy was approximately 20 to 25 miles per gallon, which was a respectable figure for such a heavy and spacious luxury automobile during the 1930s. On the road, the Streamline offered a driving experience that was almost unmatched in 1934. Combining enormous cabin space with a soft and compliant suspension. The front wheels used an independent suspension system with a transverse leaf spring, while the rear featured independent semi-elliptical leaf springs and Luwak's hydraulic shock absorbers. Stopping power came from a mechanical drum braking system operated through rods and cables on all 4 wheels. This was necessary to bring nearly 2 tons of moving mass to a halt. Because the engine was positioned entirely behind the rear axle, the weight distribution was heavily biased toward the rear. As a result, the steering could feel surprisingly light at speed, although the driver had to pay close attention in strong crosswinds. Passengers, meanwhile, enjoyed an exceptionally quiet ride because the engine was positioned far behind them and effectively isolated from the luxurious cabin. Despite its impressive engineering and advanced features, the Crossley Burney Streamline faced enormous commercial difficulties from the moment it appeared on the market. The automobile was offered at a very high price of £750, making it considerably more expensive than conventional prestige sedans and placing it within reach of only the wealthiest buyers. Furthermore, conservative luxury car customers of the 1930s considered its radical teardrop-shaped design too strange and unfamiliar compared with traditional automobiles from Rolls-Royce or Bentley. Quality control problems associated with complex hand-built construction, along with the unusual cooling system that stretched almost the entire length of the vehicle, did little to improve its reputation. Production eventually ended after only 25 hand-built vehicles had left the factory, turning the Streamline into a commercial failure that nevertheless secured a permanent place in automotive history. Today, the surviving examples of the Crossley Burney Streamline are incredibly valuable reminders of an era when daring engineers refused to accept the traditional limitations of automobile design. According to some sources, only 2 or 3 confirmed original vehicles are believed to survive, making an encounter with one of these streamlines an exceptionally rare experience. This remarkable machine demonstrated that principles borrowed from aviation and airship engineering could completely transform ground transportation and help lay the foundations for the aerodynamic automobiles of the future. The story of Sir Dennistoun Burney and Crossley Motors reminds us that true automotive innovation often begins with a bold risk, even when the market is nowhere near ready to accept it. And if you enjoy forgotten automotive legends, unique vintage engineering, and extraordinary machines like this, make sure to subscribe to On Wheels, because there are many more incredible automotive stories waiting to be discovered.